Hey guys, welcome back. Orbomb here, bringing you another one of our live deck profiles. Our first stage 2, thanks to our lovely card, Evo Incense, being able to support evolution-based decks a lot more than we used to have, which is really exciting. I think Obstagoon is really cool too. I think it has its place in the meta for sure. I'm really excited about it. So don't forget to drop a like on this video if you haven't already. Subscribe, share all that good jazz. Join the Discord, link in the description. Gumball wants me to do it, so I will do it. Shout out to you, Gumball. If you guys want to see these deck profiles way earlier, join the Patreon. It's always greatly appreciated. Your support means everything to me. What else is there to talk about? Answer common question today being, would you prefer Galarian or regular Zigzagoon and Lunoon? You know, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to say Galarian because, I mean, look how cute that thing is. But let me know in the comments down below for a chance to win, or a chance to enter to win a booster box. I guess to enter to win a booster box is not really a chance. You enter by commenting, so there's that. And is that everything else? I think that's everything I want to talk about, right? Yeah, sure. Let's just hop right into it. I'm excited about this one. Obstagoon is pretty strong. I think it's a really good deck, especially if you hit the right matchups. So for Zigzagoon, its ability is when you play this Pokemon down from your hand to your board, you put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So reminder, just like the old bats, being able to spread damage is pretty good. Being able to put things in range is pretty good. Being able to set up knockouts is pretty good. Just overall, pretty good. You play 4 of them. Its attack does 30 damage and flip if you actually land the attack. So nothing too impressive there. But what matters is the goons are here. The goons are here. Obstagoons. We're not playing any Lanoon. Excuse me. I know there's a bunch of Japanese deck lists that play Lanoon. They play Pokédolls. I'm not doing any of that. I just feel like it's really unnecessary. I just don't think it's super good, honestly. I'm going to be real with you guys. But I do like the Obstagoon. When you play this Pokemon, Lanoon doesn't have the whole, like, put 2 damage counters. Lanoon doesn't have an ability. Its attack does 20 damage and switches it with one of your bench Pokemon. So what they used to do is evolve in Lanoon, attack for 20, retreat. It's okay, not super great. But this one is pretty good. It does 30 damage when you evolve it. So when you put this Pokemon from your hand onto the board, you may put 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, which is really strong, on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then its attack is what's actually really good about this deck. There's 90 damage, and you're immune to damage from basic Pokemon from your opponent's. You're immune from damage from your opponent's basic Pokemon. Really good if you're fighting all basic Pokemon. Excuse me, guys. I don't know what's going on there. Now, think about tag team decks. Think about there's a lot of decks that are only basics. Really, there's not a lot of decks that are evolved Pokemon right now. You got this, of course. You got maybe some VMAX decks out there. But for the most part, you're going to be walling a lot of the meta. Like, think about ADP and stuff like that. It's actually really, really strong. I like it a lot. Doing 90 damage. It's only 2 energies, too, which is pretty good. And now for our main attacker, quote-unquote, Sableye. Now, Sableye is really, really strong with this combination. So Sableye's ability, first attack, is for Dark Energy. You can put a trainer card from your hand, from your discard pile to your hand. It doesn't have to be an item like Junk Hunt. It can be any trainer card, which is pretty good. But more importantly, its attack for 2 energies does 10 damage plus 60 more damage for each damage counter on that Pokemon. Do you not realize how ridiculous that is? 1 Obstagoon drop means you're hitting for 180 more damage because they have 3 damage counters on them. So let's do some math real quick, right? You hit for 190. Plus, you have the 3 damage counters, which is 220. You knock out Zacian after you dump, or after you put one of these dudes down, right? You put 4 damage counters on them. You're hitting them for 240, 250 with this. That's 290 damage, I believe, right? Because you're hitting 60, 120, 180, 240, 250. Plus, you'll have 4 damage counters on them. 290 damage. You hit for a lot of damage. This can do some buco numbers. It's really, really strong. So we are playing 2 of those. Other cards we're playing are 2 Mew. I like Mew, protects your bench, and overall it's really good for like that psi power spread. You could cut one of these Mews if you don't think the Mews are as useful, but I really do like the Mews in this deck. I like to be able to psi power spread. I like to be able to protect your bench from sniping, because that is a thing that can happen in this matchup, especially with cards like Cramorant being a thing. Being able to do 160 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon is really good. We are playing a 1-1 Blitzles Obstagoon line because Obstagoon is just good. You can get it with Evo Incense. Being able to draw more cards is good. Things like that. And then a bunch of other 1-ups. We are playing 1 of our lovely Mimikyu, being able to turn off the ability of GX Pokemon. Beautiful during in the Mewtwo matchup. Just being able to completely stop them from using abilities is really good because you can just spread your damage counter. 1 damage counter is all you need, and then all of a sudden Mewtwo's neutered. Great, amazing ability. 1 Oranguru, this is actually a brand new card in this deck, brand new Oranguru. What it does is you may look at the top, once per turn you may switch the top card of your deck with a card in your hand. So Obviously, you can look at the top card of your deck, choose a card in your hand, put it back on top of your deck. That actually pairs really well with cards like Marnie, which we'll be going over later, which is, I think we've already gone over in the Morpeko video, but Marnie lets you put all your cards on the bottom of your hand and then draw 5 cards, and then your opponent draws 4, and they do the same thing, put the card on the bottom of the deck. So what this can do is that you can put a card from your hand to the top of your deck to kind of like I want to draw into this card again, I don't want to lose it, but the rest of these cards are kind of boring. So then the top card could potentially be useful, so you play it, whatever you need to do, and then you put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck, and then you draw into that card as well as 4 brand new cards. So overall, I do like this a lot. Not to mention, it's just a +1 as far as seeing cards go, which is kind of important when you play a Stage 2 deck. Just having the +1 for seeing cards is really, really strong. So, and we are playing 1 Absol for Disruption, and this is not the Yveltal you think it is. We're actually playing the Yveltal GX. I don't actually own one, and I don't feel like printing one, because printing this has been really expensive, and also, thanks to Steven, I was able to print these, but he doesn't, like, this is at campus and school's over, and I don't feel like driving all the way up to campus to print more cards. I will next time I have another batch of cards I have to print, but like, for the time being, I'm not going to be printing another one of these, dude. It's expensive, man. So, Yveltal GX. Pretend like this is Yveltal GX. Now, let's pretend, let's remember Yveltal GX's GX attack. If you have exactly 4 damage counters on you, you take an immediate knockout. It's a 1 energy attack. And what gets 4? This into this? Huh, interesting. So it's a really good way to take immediate knockouts without having to worry about attaching 2 energies. You can just burst a knockout out of nowhere as long as you can evolve this. And this is really easy to do thanks to cards like Rosa, Evo Incense, Quick Balls. It's so easy to set this up than before. So the one thing I will say is that as far as cards I want to add to this deck, it's Pokecom to increase even more the amount of Pokemon you can get down and when you want them. We are playing 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 Pokemon. I feel like that's enough to warrant a Pokecom, maybe 2. So one thing I could cut out as a Mew, that would make it only 17 Pokemon, but it's still, Pokecoms are just overall good cards, because that's one thing I want to do is get even more Pokemon down turn 1. But, you know, I haven't found a super big need for it yet. I haven't had games where I just did so awfully that, so poorly that I was like, okay, definitely time for Pokecom. That hasn't happened to me yet, so I'm not as worried. But maybe it will happen to you, and you're just like, how can I make this better? Pokecoms, that's what you could do. Because I'm not playing right now, but I am playing 4 Quick Balls. Once again, discard, draw, discard 1 card, search for a basic Pokemon. We have a bunch of good basics in there, ideally Zigzagoon, things like that. 4 Evo Incense, it's just search for an evolution card. It's amazing. It's literally just search for an evolution card, put it into your hand. It could be a VMAX, it could be a Stage 2, it could be a Stage 1. There's no cost, there's nothing to it. It's just literally search for an evolution. We are playing 4 because we want to get Obstagoons all the time, specifically when we want them. You don't really need 4 because you're going to probably draw into Obstagoons, so sometimes they're going to be dead cards, but just being able to get them easier is the name of the game, right? It's all about getting these Stage 2s down easier. So I'm still playing 4. I don't think you cut down to lower than 4. We are playing 4 Custom Catcher for the usual Custom Catcher needs. We're not playing any discard cards. There's no Dedenne, which is another card you can play in this deck if you're worried about not drawing into pieces. The reason why I'm not playing Dedenne is I hate the idea of having to discard any rare candies or any Obstagoons. Of course, if you do play Dedenne, you could always play 1 or 2 Lanoons and maybe 1 or 2 of those new Good Rods, I think, or normal rods, or what they are called. Because if you lose a rare candy, you can always just use Lanoon as a buffer to evolve. It's a little bit slower, but you can do that. And then you can play Good Rod to get back Obstagoons, your Pokemon. It gets you back either a combination of 2 Pokemon and 2 energies, so you can get back a total of 4 cards back into your deck. So it's actually a pretty good card, but that is like 1 Lanoon at least, 1 Good Rod at least, and 1 Dedenne at least, just to play the Dedenne for a little bit more consistency. So 3 cards, it's kind of hard to make space for 3 cards. I'd rather play the Pokecom first. So, but that is an option in case you're looking to play the Dedenne. I do think it's good though. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's easy to put in. So it's definitely something that you can do. I'm not saying it's bad by any means. I think it's still a pretty good option. If you want to do it, then go for it. This is once again preliminary deck list. Keep that in mind. 4 rare candies to evolve. 2 switches for momentum. 2 reset stamp because reset stamp is good, especially in these basic decks, quote unquote basic decks, because we're still playing Sableye and Yveltal. And 2 air balloon. We're choosing to play air balloon over a skateboard and Jirachis. because our Pokemon have, roughly all of our Pokemon have a 2 retreat cost, so having Air Balloon is pretty good. Not to mention it goes past Absol, because all of our basics have a 1 retreat cost, I believe. So Absol doesn't affect our retreating at all, and then our evolved Pokemon have 2 retreat costs, which is what the Air Balloon is for. I can't see any basics besides Oranguru that have a 2 retreat cost. Maybe Yveltal does, I actually don't remember. Also Sableye does as well. But like for the most part, all of our basics only have a 1 retreat cost, so being able to move past the Absol is pretty good. And we're playing 2 Chaotic Swell. This could be anything. I still think you need a stadium card to bump things like Wonder Labyrinth, and annoying stadiums that could really benefit your opponent, like Thunder Mountain. You could always play Mimikyu if you don't want the stadiums, but that's technically another Pokemon. So if you want to cut out the stadiums to play maybe more Mimikyu, and that would give you even more Pokemon for Pokecom, that's not bad. But actually, it's not bad. You can always do that. But I do like the idea of playing the stadiums more, because Chaotic Swell is just such a good card, such a good stadium. Being able to double bump a stadium is just really good. As far as supporters go, not too many. 4 Cynthia. And 3 Marnie, 4 Cynthia, obvious shuffle draw is good. Marnie is really good in this deck as well, being able to shuffle your hand, draw 4 more cards, preserving cards in your deck, knowing that you're not going to draw into them again. This pairs really well whenever you want to put a rare candy back on the top of the deck with a Ranguru, or an Obstagoon back on the top of the deck. Although usually it's rare candy because you can draw into an Evo Incense and stuff like that. So the Marnie, super good in this deck. I could play a 4th one. I could easily cut out a Mew to play a 4th one of these. This is probably one of the cards I would cut out to play more of. That and Rosa as well. Rosa being able to get you an energy, which we only play 9 basics. So, which I guess I'll just go over right now since I already said it. We only play 9 basics in this deck. So being able to use Rosa to get the basic, get a Pokemon and a rare candy. You literally just get Obstagoon, rare candy, and an energy, and you can attack with it. Or you can get Yveltal switch energy, and then all of a sudden you can take a knockout with Yveltal if there's already 4 damage counters on the board. Rose is just really good. So this is one of those supporters maybe I'll play 3 or 4 of, because it's just that strong in this deck. Marnie, once again, another strong supporter. So if the consistency becomes rough, I could always play more supporters. The Dedenne is always an option, things like that. Remember, with Sableye, you can get cards back into your hand, although you're leaving a 170 HP 2 price Pokemon in the active. So it's not always the best idea to do that. But that's it for this deck profile. I actually really liked this Obstagoon deck. I thought it was going to be just like the previous, just like more Pico. Like, I thought this deck was just going to be okay, but like it definitely has proven its worth. Being able to block tag team attackers with Obstagoon, as you saw in the matchup, John, because I didn't have Keldeo to hit past effects, John literally just left single Obstagoon remaining and attacked with it over and over again until he won the game, because I couldn't do anything about it. If he didn't have a bench Pokemon, I couldn't switch him with Fion. So sometimes you can just win with a single Obstagoon, which is kind of crazy. Usually they can't do that because they're going to have a lot of Pokemon down. It's for their board to really stay consistent. But like he had a game where he went off so hard that he was able to just win with a single Obstagoon. So it's just a good card in general. Sableye is good for big knockouts, things like that. So I do like this deck a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you could drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Answer all those common questions of the day that I mentioned earlier, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Peace.